And I'm going to make a short video of how to fix all these cracks. I'm going to wind up tacking them in place with the welder and then epoxying them because the plastic is so thin. I don't think it would do too good if I weld it. As you can see, there's a crack along here, one here, one here, this big U-shaped one, one here, 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 and over there. So I'm just going to start on one side. These ones line up pretty well, but I'm just going to tack a little spot. And then I'm going to go to the next one. It's pretty smooth, so I have to push on it just a little bit. And just weld a little spot. You just have to melt the plastic on both sides of the crack and then kind of push it together, and it will hold. This one I got to push down a little bit. Just don't touch your finger with the soldering iron because it's quite hot. And I go to the next one. I don't think it's going to be as easy. It doesn't want to go over there. It's pretty close. And just kind of smooth it out after a couple of spots on it. Yep. Pushed apart. It hadn't cooled enough. You have to melt the plastic and then let it cool for just a second, and then it should hold. Yep. I'll push out a little bit on it right here. Not in here where it's not perfectly smooth. It's pretty close. Well, this may do okay just with a light welding job and epoxy on the inside. As you can see, I'm just kind of dragging the tip across it and then smoothing it out with the side. So that it's not quite as noticeable. You just can't touch it for more than just an instant because this plastic is so thin that you burn a big hole in it. So just drag the tip across it and then smooth it out. And just keep the tip moving. And if you leave it on there for more than a second, it's going to burn it. I don't know if you can see or not how fast it's melting the plastic, but just in that amount of time that I'm touching it on there, it's melting it all the way through. It just hadn't burned a hole yet. You just have to move fairly fast. Don't worry if it turns clear. It's going to turn clear once it gets hot, but once it cools, it'll go back to white. Just get you a good light where you can see what you're doing. Because when you're working on white plastic with just a regular overhead light, it can be hard to see exactly what you're doing. And if it doesn't match up exactly, that's okay, because it's still going to look better than it did all cracked. As long as you go fast on this thin plastic, it seems to be doing okay. But I'm still going to epoxy the inside of it just to be safe. Give it a little extra strength. And it's not going to be perfectly smooth, but it'll be pretty good. The crack actually starts up here, then about here it goes all the way through the plastic. So I'm gonna go up here where it starts, and even though it's not all the way through, I'm gonna melt it a little bit, just to kind of fix it before it gets bumped and cracks the rest of the way through. And if two pieces don't line up exactly, that's okay, because you can kind of melt the edge and contour it down to the other piece, as long as they're close. You can see there's a little bit of a gap here, but that will fill in. Just do a little bit of it and smooth it out, and then do a little bit more. Just remember what I said. Keep the tip moving. You can kind of go across the crack like this, or sometimes you can just drag it right up the crack and then smooth it out, and it will look pretty good. Now, as far as this piece, let me get my finger in there. I may have to melt another piece of plastic to fill that hole in, because there's a gap right there. So what I'm going to do is push this down, melt it to this piece, and then I'm going to go over here, find the end of the crack. You want to make sure you get all the way to the end of it, and kind of melt it a little bit. That's why you need a good bright light to use, because sometimes it's hard to see when it's not cracked all the way through. There's another crack right there that doesn't go all the way through, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of weld it together before it does become a full-fledged crack. And when you're doing this, like I've said before, make sure that this part of the soldering iron doesn't touch your plastic, because while you're watching what the tip is doing, that edge will touch the plastic, and before you know it, you've got a hole. So you have to watch that too. Got all of it except that hole, doesn't it? Looks okay. It's got a little bit of brown on there, but nothing you can really do about that except maybe put a little white paint over it, just on a Q-tip. Then I'm going to get it. See if I can find a little scrap piece. It's just an old piece off of a blow mold. I don't remember exactly what it came off of, but I'm just going to hold it over the hole and then melt it carefully, keeping the tip moving. You want to overlap the hole a little bit when you're cutting this piece out. So what you're going to do is basically cut a piece out with your soldering iron. Just melt it down one side and get it sticking, and then come over here where the other side of it is, and just gradually cut a groove through it with your soldering iron. Just be careful not to go all the way through and poke a hole in your blow mold. That's a little too small, but I think I can melt enough of the plastic to cover that hole up, because that plastic is pretty thick. Just use your tip to melt it, and then you can kind of push some of it over there by just dragging it across the surface of it. As you can see, it's kind of, you can push it in and out because it's almost to the point of being melted. So just put your finger on the inside and push it out real quick. But I'll warn you, it's hot, so do it quick. Blow on it, it'll cool it off a lot faster than if you don't. But as you can see, hopefully you can see it, covers the whole hole. Once it cools completely, it'll turn white. There'll still be a little bit of brown. So what I'll do then is get kind of white spray paint. I know I've got some somewhere. Spray some on a piece of cardboard, an old box, whatever. Then take the Q-tip and just dab it on there. Just Rust-Oleum will work just fine. And a good old Q-tip. Again, it's not going to look perfect, but what's your alternative? Just spray it on an old scrap piece of cardboard. Take your Q-tip, get a little bit of paint on there. That part didn't smooth out a whole lot. It's still going to stick out, but it'll look better than having brown streaks. I would just do it on the worst parts of it. If you could find a different shade of white, some kind of off-white, it would probably match it better. I may do that next time I'm at Lowe's or Home Depot. Right now I'm just trying to show you how to cover your repairs. Just do it like that. Do it as much as you need to cover all the damage that you repaired. See, fixed all those little cracks. Now what I'm going to do is turn him over where I can go inside. Not sure how to. Let me just take the camera off of here. See where the cracks were? Right down in there. I'm just going to put some epoxy on the inside and call it a day. So, thank you for watching. If you like the video, click down below. Subscribe to the channel and you'll see the next ones I put up. This is one that I just repainted, as a matter of fact. I didn't do a video on it, but I've got some more I'm going to repaint that I'll do videos on. Show exactly how I did it. I still have to do his eyes and his belt buckle. Then I'll be finished. So anyway, like I said, click the like button, leave a comment if you have one question or whatever. Thanks for watching.